Alright, I have some cool figures here to show you that I picked up at Target. I've been meaning to grab these forever, but then I went to Target and they had the whole set, $5 a pop. Now I know why they had them on clearance, because they're getting ready to put out the new figures for the new series coming in August. Some of them are already on the shelves, so they're just kind of clearing the way for them. But I was able to snack all four of them, which really, if you're going to buy these, you're going to want all four. So without further ado, I grabbed the Mutant Mayhem wave of just the turtles. Because honestly, like, I might get like Superfly at some point or some of the other ones, but really, if I want to grab any of these, I really just want the four turtles, you know? There we go. We got Leonardo right there. Now I've been meaning to grab these since the movie came out. I don't know. Every time I walked into Target, you know how some things like super easy to find, and it's always sitting there. Every time you go in there, you're like, yeah, I'll get it later. Yeah, I'll get it later. But meanwhile, other stuff that you want a little bit less, that's a lot harder to find, you're like, yeah, but you know what, I'll get it now. So it's got all these accessories. I'm not going to pull those out. I just want to see him with the katanas. I might actually just put one katana back in his little holster back here, because that just looks better, my opinion. Leonardo looks great. I love how these figures look. I think, very well detailed, very well painted for, a $10 figure that I got in clearance for $5. So, very cool Leonardo. Here's my favorite one. I love how this one looks, and he's my favorite turtle. I feel like maybe it might be Leonardo, because the more I've thought about which turtle I think is the best, I think Leonardo probably is. Just because when you think about, like, character arcs, I feel like Leonardo, throughout all the different shows and movies even, and comic books too, always ends up having the best arcs, because there's a lot more to do with the character who is a leader. You could do the reluctant leader trope, the becoming a leader trope. You could do all these different things where, like, Raphael, it's just like, I'm angry, I'm the brute, and then he has to learn to be not so hot-headed. Michelangelo, there's not really too much to do other than him being underestimated by his brothers and learning to be more intelligent and grow over time. Raphael right there looks sick as hell. I love that grin on his face, like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Love that look right there. I don't know. And then Donatello, like, I don't know, I feel like he's just the tech geek, and there's nothing else to that. We got Michelangelo. Kind of cool that it's pretty sick that they gave him his two things of nunchucks here. I guess his little holsters on the back, unlike the other turtles, his holsters don't really do a good job of holding his nunchucks, which kind of sucks. Also, I don't think his hands do a great well doing it too. You kind of have to squeeze them in there, which kind of sucks, because these figures aren't really made to squeeze really well, and so it's very easy to break figures when you have to squeeze things into their hands. So, kind of hate when they do things like that, but, it is what it is. Freaking great look to Michelangelo there with his nunchucks, which I think honestly got a little too big. Probably should have shortened those down a little bit when they were making this figure, but otherwise, great looking figure. And then we got Donatello. go. We got Donatello. He's put on some headphones on his head. Do these headphones not want to go on? Why did you even make this as accessory if it doesn't go on very well? Well, that looks okay. It's around his neck, which I feel like he does wear that a lot around his neck during the movie. So, you know, it is semi-accurate. There we go. Donatello, though I think the only thing with Donatello that bugs me a little bit is I feel like saying that this one feels like the laziest that it wasn't painted. Like there's clearly two different pieces to this staff that were meant to be painted but weren't, and I kind of hate when they do that with these cheap $10 figures, but it is what it is. The Turtle Boys look great. I'll show you here. Let me here, before we sign out here, let me show you what they look like on my shelf. And there they are, sick as fuck.